Welcome back to Life in Style, Relationship Wednesday. We are on This Is Us. It's that segment where we talk to couples, we get to hear their stories, pick up the nuggets from their life, just journey with them. And today I am privileged to have the Ndiemas. They are not new to us. Well, at least for Anthony, his face is all over. Of course, especially even the wife, she's a musician. So the kind that we call the celebrity couples.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then, nowadays there's this thing of couple goals. So there are those people who say, those are our couple goals. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You all right?
Good.
Okay, and we're coming to you from the Westgate Mall. We are over here. Not that there was a story about it before, but it's come back to life. So you can come out here, shop. You can come out over here, hang out. A lot of eateries in this place, and just keep on living. That's how victory is. That where the enemy meant things for evil, then God turns it around for good. Yeah. How did you guys meet?
I prefer his version of the story.
I don't know why every couple that comes has two versions.
Yeah.
I always keep on hearing two versions. Yeah.
I think it's just the way the female explains it and the male explains it.
Yeah.
Same story,
Right.
different versions.
Yeah.
We met at a petrol station. That's very interesting. So, we usually say one of us must have been an attendant. But I had a friend of mine who were together in campus. So one of the days he calls me and says, "Hey, Anthony, there's a friend of mine who's moving from one side of the estate to the other. Can you come and I had a small Nissan B12.
Okay.
Let's help her move." So I thought,
You're doing well early in life,
I
right?
know. He was living in Tuleleshu.
in an SQ. An SQ. So I said, it's good, let's go. So that evening, we meet at Valley Arcade. And so the friend walks, it was about 7 in the evening. So he walks down and he's walking with a lady. And I saw this lady and my goodness. I just liked her from the very first time.
Okay. You didn't even think that there could be something going on between
Later on, I thought probably she's even the girlfriend to this guy. But when I saw her right then, in my mind, I thought this is exactly what I've been desiring.
See why I like him telling the story?
What's your version?
My version is that I was moving.
All right.
And a Nissan Sunny came. And I moved.
And the Nissan Sunny has been moving you till today?
No, thank God. Thank God it was sold because I really pushed that Nissan Sunny a few times.
Okay.
He started breaking down as soon as he met me. Don't you think that story is not... There's a part of that story that is hidden from the public.
A few minutes, in fact, before we got to a place...
They won.
We got somewhere, it was actually raining and drizzling. And the car just stalled.
Right.
He claims it for the first time.
But what was the relationship between his friend and you?
His friend was the only friend I had in Nairobi. I was moving from Eldoret.
Okay.
So I used to hang out a lot with him. I asked him if he could get me help to move since I was not very liquid. Maybe I am now, I don't know. Yeah, but I didn't want to get transport. If you hire a vehicle, then you have to pay more than you have in your pocket. I asked him, who can help us? So he said, I have a friend who has a Nissan Sunny. I said, I only have 2-3 things to move, so a Nissan Sunny would do. So that's how come I had to meet him then.
Right. And from that meeting, so how did things work out?
Oh.
Like, how did you pick up?
So of course, all this time, that entire evening, so we did 2 trips.
Right.
But I was just praying that we could do a bit more.
Several more trips, huh?
So I had to make a plan. So I called my brother, told him, please, just prepare some good food. I'm coming with some visitors.
You don't look like a schemer, man.
Yeah, they never look like it.
I wanted that time just to keep going.
All right, okay.
So that I can, see her more. Probably get to know a few other things. Yeah. So we went to my place after we moved as staff. We had some dinner together with my friend Isaac and her friend Chebet. And when we were, so I dropped them back where she was staying. And at that point I was I was not very sure to ask for her number because I didn't know if, you know, she was the girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then at some point she tells me, please give me your number. When you're in studio, I was then working at Hope FM, I will request a song.
Yeah.
I gave her like 10 business cards so that if you lose one. And at that point then she asked me how much. I told her, just say God bless you. That's
Imagine.
And I think
How come you
that's-
don't say that nowadays?
and I think that was for her, that
Yeah,
meant
yeah,
quite
that
something.
meant
The-
quite
the-
something.
the
In
meant-
Nairobi. Okay, the villager in me was coming from Eldoret. Then I meet this guy who doesn't want any shilling from me. And he's not doing this because he wants to take advantage of me, or I don't know. I felt it was a bit too genuine. I guess I was coming to a
You
place where I was
felt safe,
expecting.
though? You felt
Yes, I
safe.
felt safe. I felt cared for by a total stranger. But again, he didn't feel like a total stranger by the end of that night, because we chatted with his brothers, my friends. We were like, wow.
So
nice.
had you known before that he was a radio personality?
Well, when you meet them, celebs, when you meet them, within the first 5 minutes, you better have gathered your bio, like very fast. So I got into the Nissan Sunny, kept my mouth shut, then I listened to my friend talking, then they're like, radio, Shangili. I'm like, this is where I should drop off. I should stop this guy and leave. Then I said, okay, I just persevere through the night. I'm broke anyway. So that's how come. He had mentioned, yeah, they talked a bit with Isaac, our friend. So I knew he was a radio guy, and so definitely I was not thinking of dating and marrying a radio guy.
A radio
No,
guy.
let's stick to teachers, you know, just simple people in life.
So how did you get Isaac, right? How did you get Isaac out of the picture? Or how
Wow,
did you loop
He
him
was
into?
not in the picture.
The next 14 days were very interesting days. So day one, I'm thinking, oh my God, on Monday, I'm thinking, how do I? So I went to studio, 2 to 4. By the time I was getting to 4, I don't have a text. I haven't been called to be asked for a song. So I'm thinking, that's your story, Mekuva. Day 2, nothing. Day 3, it was too much. You see, I didn't have any picture. I didn't know how on social media. So I'm thinking, his story. So I called Isaac, day 3. Aizo, ni aje? Your guys walifika poa, wanaendelea poa. Then Isaac says, wako poa. In fact, hata tuko na Neno hapa. Kencom kwa stage. 8 p.m. I said, yes. She's actually the girlfriend. So I gave up. I gave up for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh my, why did I get into this thing?
Yeah.
Because my heart was already
In it.
in it. Thursday, nothing. Friday in the morning, Isaac calls me and tells me, Anto, because one of the things when we met, we said, me, I love to learn the guitar, you know, and Isaac was very good in instruments. So Aizo tells me, Anto, so you can come for the, unaweza kuja kwangu leo jioni so that we can learn the guitar. Neno will be there. I had a cocktail, something for the workplace.
Right.
I cancelled. So I went for the evening.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first and the last time I learned the guitar.
Yeah,
I've never learned the guitar.
gold.
Yeah, so we had quite a conversation that evening. But sadly, I found her washing clothes at Isaac's place.
Yeah?
So you were even getting more confused.
Can I give you
right?
a chance to explain?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've moved to this house in Kileleshwa where I was living in an SQ. There was no water. The best I could come up with was carry my clothes, go with them to Isaac's house and wash. But we agreed jointly that we need a third person in this house so that we don't keep spending time together. Yet he was dating, and it's just good to be honest. So Anto was our third person. He was supposed to, you know, make things not to go any direction, because it's only
Oh,
wise.
Lord.
It's only wise. So the third person became then the first person.
Yeah.
That's how come I was washing clothes there. But he thought I was washing his clothes.
Yeah.
He thought I was washing Aizo's clothes. Babe.
I know. But at the end of that day, I actually, when Isaac was out, I said, can I have your number? So she said, oh yeah, anytime. So I said, why didn't you ask
I
me
said
for...
anytime.
You said anytime.
No, I didn't say anytime,
And you
babe.
gave me the number.
Fine.
How still, you know, because I think this would really help somebody somewhere.
Right.
Still, how did you handle Isaac? in this scenario? Because sometimes a lot of people find themselves in such kind of situations,
Yeah.
and they don't know how to deal with a guy because
Yeah.
in their mind they're thinking maybe they're going out,
Yeah.
Right.
or maybe this person is hopeful about this
Right.
lady and they're interested,
Mm.
and they don't want to wreck their friendship,
I like
Right.
that.
and then they are interested in this lady. So
Yeah.
how did you handle Isaac?
I guess I should have just been open from the first day and asked him, Isaac, is this your girlfriend? That would have made me avoid a lot of trouble.
But that's not how you handle that.
I didn't handle it that way. That would, I think, have been a better
But you didn't
way.
handle it
Really?
too bad.
No.
It was not too bad.
You did
You
it
didn't
well.
handle it too bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought he was wise
Yeah.
because you didn't come
Straight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you
then
didn't
you
come
you
straight.
didn't go away upset,
Correct.
angry, throwing tantrums, and
But I
people
was
are
hurting.
You were hurting.
In a way.
Yeah, actually, I gather he cried. Yeah. Anyway, how did you? I think the part I liked is that he dealt with me. You see, he was interested in me. So what he decided to do was to ask me the question. Then Isaac just got the hint. Because then the meetings with Isaac became less, and the meetings with Anthony became more. So it was Anthony dropping me home after all.
The
Anthony had
day
a
you
car.
discovered she was single,
Oh, I said this is going to the
Marriage.
very end.
your playlist must have changed
Oh.
that day
Oh.
on radio.
Party for real. Indeed. You had
I
quite
did.
some Eunice Jerry's, and I was
Yeah.
not sure we were dedicating them to Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened is that so we agreed every Friday we'll be meeting. So I had a number, of course, during the week I called, said hi. So the next Friday, Isaac traveled to the village. So now she came to our place. And I had my brother and sister who were staying together. So we had a really lovely evening. And that evening when I was dropping her, I asked her, are you Isaac's girlfriend? She told me, no. Isaac has a girlfriend in the US. I said, come on, let's do this.
You didn't say it.
In my heart.
You didn't even show.
I couldn't.
I also didn't know what was
couldn't.
going on, by the way. Don't
Yeah.
assume that now, because we were meeting often, I couldn't tell what he's trying to do. I
Okay.
just thought, okay, you're a very nice guy.
I was about to ask you whether at that particular point you'd started picking up that he was interested in you.
I think
Why are you getting fond of him? Or you were just thinking like, okay, he's
you
a
really
brother.
want me to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. Yeah, he was very nice. He was very, very nice. It was a bit too much. This guy is nice. And it wasn't fake.
Yeah.
He'd
yeah.
come to the office. There's a time he came to my office
Yeah.
and he was in a full suit. I'm like, hey, wow. He came, he asked if he could take me out to, we went to Galitos, had a bite. I was asking myself, does this thing have an agenda? But I had vowed that I'd never ask a man again, do you like me? I'm like, if you like me, you will get me. So then what did I do? I just kept playing safe, but to be honest, yes, I was growing fond of him. I'd
Okay.
look forward to the times when he would play a song. I mean, I would have to listen to Shangilia by force, by fire. I would look forward to the songs and just listen and wonder. Then one day he brought me a CD. A Luya CD. I'm not Luya. This guy. But there's a particular song he was looking for. It was, what was his name, that guy?
Ingwe, no?
Ingwe.
Ingwe.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was brought for Sweetie Wanje. So I was wondering,
What was that? I actually
yeah,
think, even
that
I asked
was
myself, what
hot.
did
I
I
was
do?
like, what are you supposed to do? I thought, wow. So now I started really liking him. But now he's not saying anything like this guy. Okay.
What was that was keeping you from talking,
I think I just, my personality,
Personality.
I just like taking it easy,
Yes.
Yeah.
step by step.
Yes.
I want to be very sure that I say it at the right time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this right time, for this one, it had to be poked.
Yeah, you were
One
going to wait
evening,
too
I
long.
had to say it that evening because there was a guy who I think was
We were in campus
also yeah,
together.
on campus, was also interested in her. And that evening when she was coming to Nairobi, she
I
came with
traveled to Nakuru, yeah?
yes. So
Nakuru, yeah.
so met this guy. This guy said, "I will send you.
I'll
some-
call you in the evening.
I'll call you in the evening."
If I don't call you, I'll never tell you what I'm thinking.
Where I had to step in.
So now I was telling him my story. So it worked.
So that evening I had to tell her what I was thinking about.
All right. Had you ever had, before you met Neno, had you ever had a relationship before?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Our stories are very similar. One, I was in one serious relationship.
One in
All right.
campus.
5 years, I think. Started
Oh,
in
you
campus.
five, mine was
It was about 5.
Okay.
It didn't end well.
All
It
right.
was very nasty. So
Did that scare you from when you were meeting her? Did that scare you? Were you?
I took some time out.
Yeah.
I really tried a few things here and there.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. So I was, by the time I was meeting her, I think I was ready
Okay.
for a serious one.
How important is it, since you say that the story is a bit similar, how important is it for somebody to take a break before they get into the next relationship?
Extremely important, I
Yeah.
think. Extremely important because you need to find you. In relationships, a lot of time you get lost. I don't know whether it's because of the emotions and I don't know, the attachments and the ties and everything that happens in a relationship. This is someone you call every day, almost twice or thrice or 4 times. You meet at least maybe 2-3 times a week, so they become a part of your life. If you don't undo that, and God has to help you, God really has to help you, because you have to totally detach your heart from this other person. Otherwise, you'll go half or quarter of you to this other relationship, which may be the thing that God was planning for you all along and was preparing you through your previous relationship. So I think it's important to have time out. What I can't define is how much time.
I was about to
I
ask you
know,
that.
I know, and I can't pretend to be God, because if God did not write some things in the Bible, it means
Yeah.
I can't set my own. But I think you can feel when
Yeah.
you're ready for something.
What is that that you get to know that I am ready? At what point do you feel you're ready?
I could go a bit spiritual from my experience, my own experience. At first, I had enjoyed a relationship where the attention was on me. Then God totally dealt with me being the center of the universe. Have I ever said that? Okay, yeah. As in, he had to deal with that. He had to deal with my heart totally looking up to God for my affection, for my identity. Before that, it was on this other person. Yeah. So when they had to move out of the picture, I was left feeling like I have lost one of my legs, and then I had to find my leg and find my place and find my space and know that it's okay, Percy. If someone doesn't call you the whole day, I even wonder why I had a phone at some point. No one calls you, not even a kange. You know, they can obby and say, "Hey, unaka fit." As in, God removed all that from me to the point that my dependence was on Him. But I want to imagine it's also for, if you have a relationship with God, there's a gap you will feel, a space you will feel. But I think generally God will want to remove that whole dependence on someone else and just put it back on Him, so that when you're whole, you can pass back to the next person. I don't know. That's me. I don't know you.
How long did you relate? The dating, the courting?
1.5 years.
1.5
Part
years.
one, a major part of it was planning the wedding.
Half, yeah. Nice.
So, from the point that you met, you quickly went into the relationship.
We,
Did it take a
time.
month? Did it take 2 months?
Oh yeah.
When we met to when we started dating,
Yeah.
about 4 months.
About
4
4
months.
Yes.
Then from there, about 1.5 years.
Yes.
No, about
1 and
about
3
1 year 3 months thereabout.
You were very clear about what you wanted, right?
Yes.
Very clear.
Yes. Funny enough, yes. Even me.
And I saw it the first day.
Even
I didn't see
you?
it the first day. I saw it.
Later.
Yeah. I saw it when
When
he asked.
after I told you.
Yeah. My eyes
it's
were
free
open.
of charge.
The Lord opened my eyes. Amen.
There are people, and I know, like my case, we went for so many years, but for various reasons, because we were just finding our footing, then relocating into the city, so kind of finding a footing. There are people who believe that if it is not too long, it won't work out well. You want to know each other well. What do you say about that?
We
1 year is long enough, right?
There's a point right there. It's good to know each other well. But again, I think if you find the right person and you're ready,
Define the right person.
and you're
But
ready.
Anthony, the people who are watching,
Yeah.
and they wonder,
Yeah.
how
What
do you
is the
know?
right person?
Yeah,
Thank
how
you.
do
How
you know that
this
this is the right person? you
It's
know?
very personal. It is very personal.
No, personal.
Okay, for you,
For
how?
me,
Yeah. Because the first thing that you noted was a
Yes.
beautiful girl.
That's
I know,
true.
right?
That's the
Physically,
first
How do you
one.
work with that
Yeah.
only? Yes.
So, but now what is it that made you know this is the person that I want to, beyond how she looks, this is the person I would really want to settle with? What is it?
Number one, I think my desires physically were taken care of. So that was a tick.
Men are crazy, you know.
I
men
know,
are
right?
always
I
very-
know. They can marry
We
the
all
shell.
have something we desire, right? So
Right.
that was taken care of. So day one, day two, I keep speaking to her. I keep ticking the boxes. She loves God. For me also, strange. I desired someone from a particular tribe, and it's not a bad thing. It was just a desire.
Global, my friend.
So that was tick. I mean, if I got someone else, it was not a condition, but
All
it
right.
was
It
a
is a desire. All right.
So I kept ticking, and after a few days, I was happy.
Okay.
I was happy that this is it.
Well, your desires, these desires that you're ticking, the boxes, were they cast on stone?
They are not cast on stone.
They're not cast on stone.
They are not
So
cast-
nobody should go out there and say, you know, Anto said.
No, no. and you see, I might desire someone who looks this physically. I see someone totally different, but probably there's something else they have that is
Was the-
superior.
Was the color contrast, was that intentional? Did
He
you
just called
desire
me
that?
white. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Color was never one of those things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was never
Okay.
one of
You're
those
fine
things.
with melanine?
I'm fine with it's called melanistic. It's a condition. I was okay with either.
Yeah, it's the opposite of albinism.
Because I met somebody one time who told me, you know, I'm very light skinned, so I don't want a light skinned guy. I want somebody who compliments.
But I think, Pasi, day one is the day we were looking at the outside. I'm
Okay.
sorry, I don't know whether
Yeah.
I kept sticking to the outside. I was so keen on the person,
On the person.
and I think you can date 7 years and try and persuade yourself, and you can date one day, and you
And
can
you
see
know-
what you needed to see.
You know the
Because
person.
we are adults. I'm
Yeah.
not imagining you're dating at 12, 13.
Right.
You build, most of your character is already established. Of course, we are always a work in progress, and God is faithful. But there are things that have been established in you.
But that is
which we should
easier.
see.
That is easier if both of you what you see is what you get, right?
Yes. Now that's
Yeah.
also one of the things. And I
Yeah.
remember there's a pastor, I keep talking about him every time we are asked in such forums. There's a pastor who told me that the one thing he looked for in his wife, and they agreed as a couple, if you see openness, you have that person.
Okay.
But if you see someone who everything has a block, everything has a password, not physical password,
Yeah.
but you can tell, Percy, when I'm being restrictive with
Yeah,
information,
yeah,
then it means we may not go far.
Yeah.
We may not connect at a deep level. And I
Yeah.
think that's what keeps marriage alive.
Right.
That connection beyond the physical, beyond sex, beyond deep connection. So it goes with how open are you, even with your flaws.
All right.
There's a part he did mention where just before we said yes to each other, yes in dating,
Yeah.
not the one that he finally did, I think a week to the wedding on his knee, not that one. The first one that
Yeah.
we had, the experience was that before, okay, I guess I was the one with a lot of questions. So I told him, no, I want both of us to be extremely open about how far you've gone with your relationships, what kind of relationships have you had, so we know what soul ties we are dealing with. Because firstly, we get into marriage and then we are shtuking, this guy is not even interested in sex. Why? Perhaps there's things he did that he has never confessed to, or he has never been able to be delivered from. So we shared and shared and shared, and you ask, I tell you, I met this guy, we were dating for this long, what did you do? How far did you go? What were the interactions like? And when I realized the guy is extremely open, I think my yes just came out, I think.
I'm not so sure that you're going to be anybody's couple's goals after this.
And it's just fine. It's just fine. Look
Okay,
unto
'cause,
Jesus, not us.
Because there's some people, man, I don't think they want to bring up all of that stuff.
That's true.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
They
It's
will come
important.
up either way. don't
because sometimes, again, some people think if you take them that direction, they are thinking, I'm losing this person. I think some
That's
people
the
fear.
important part. I need to lose you before I find you. I have to. I have to know who
It
I'm
is
dealing
okay.
with.
It is okay for the person to walk out because you've shared so much of yourself,
Yeah, fine.
so that if they think that you're the one, then they come back.
Did you even have to walk out? Really?
But
Well,
it's good to...
Well, you know,
I know what you mean.
yeah, when you've been good enough,
They
it's
say.
different. But you know, there are people whose
Yeah.
past has a
But
lot
you
of
may
story.
assume that our past has no story, right? I mean, I'm just being honest.
I agree with you that there are people who think if I share too much, I
Yeah.
will lose her or I will lose him.
Yeah.
But you see that it's good to create a good foundation,
All right.
even as you start, because that foundation is what keeps you going. That foundation is what helps you, you know, move to. It basically sets a pace for you to deal with your issues in the days to come. So that when you have issues, you know there's a level of openness that the both of you have. And truth is, if that person will walk out because you have too much debt with them or you have too much garbage with them, then probably they don't deserve it.
Let me ask you, Anthony, before we move on. Let me ask you guys.
She's not even got the marriage bit.
So I meet this lady. I'm so interested in her.
Yeah.
I share my story. She can't handle it. I meet the second one.
You share your
I
story.
share my story.
God is
She can't handle it.
God is faithful. God is faithful.
I meet the third, the fourth.
But there's
Don't
also
you think?
wisdom on how you
Yeah.
get to choose. You also can't just meet and say, so now these are the number of women I've had. I think over time you also get to understand what can they get in bits.
Yeah.
Because this was after 3 months, right?
Yeah.
This was after
Okay.
meeting a number of times, having coffee, laughing, not having said much of each other, but said a few things.
You know, there are people who even fear just saying that I have a kid.
Right.
Not even
Yeah, I
something
know.
that is huge. There are people who fear even just saying I have a kid because they've heard that nobody will want to be with somebody who is a kid. You know, so how do we balance that?
How
really?
about you buying the trust of this
Correct.
person? Once they have your trust,
Yeah.
then you can, and not to trick them.
Yeah.
There's a way you can work with them.
Yeah.
You develop a
Yeah.
trust, and then if you tell them bit by bit,
Okay.
and if they love you, I think they will slowly get to know that this is a genuine person. When they tell me they want, so now I have a kid, and there's more I'll tell you, but I want
Yeah.
you to understand that this is genuine.
Okay.
And it's for both of us to grow together.
All right. Let's talk about the marriage because we won't have to have too much time. You know, this is a story we could dig for. Seriously, but let's talk about the marriage. So, when you got married, I love to ask this: what are those adjustments that you had to make? Were there certain expectations that you had, and then you're getting into marriage, and you're like, okay, I thought it would be like this, but I think we've got to do it different. Yeah.
Quite a number.
Quite a number. Our marriage was messed up day one after honeymoon. Adjustments started then.
Right there.
And our first year was very rocky, super rocky.
People never think that.
Oh, it's
They don't.
crazy.
They don't think that. You
You'll
know,
go
they
through
see
summer, winter,
nice
autumn.
photos. They see nice photos. They see Anthony lifting up the children.
I know.
At least the children came later.
So day one after honeymoon, I come home. I come from a huge family,
Right.
polygamous. So we are
Right.
many.
Right.
The more the merrier. That's why I was staying with my brothers, sisters. Come. She comes from a very small family. So I come home. I told the guys, please, after you drop the gifts at home, you guys go to your places. I find the whole community in the house. Of course, one of them was sleeping even in our bed.
Wow.
And I
What
get
was
home.
to be our bed?
Yeah, what was to
What?
be? I come home early in the morning. We get early, and then the guy says, "Hey, ni laleni huko kwa sitting room. When the sun comes out, you can now come." So for her,
She was
What
going
do you mean?
crazy.
she was going crazy. And then for me, I thought,
We are
excuse
many in
me,
this marriage.
you found me with these guys. So let's take it easy. We don't have to throw them out like that. So that took a whole year.
Yes, I didn't throw
To
them
solve.
out. You threw them out.
I had to.
I did.
Yeah, of course. So
But that would put a strain a bit because you're looking for leadership, right?
yeah, true.
At that particular point, you're looking for leadership. You're
Yeah.
looking for your man he needs to do that. Then he doesn't know how to deal with that at that particular point.
Right.
So, did you ever hear something like, Tony, be the man? At that particular point, when all these guys were coming around, did you ever hear stories like Anthony the man?
Yeah, it came up. Came up a few times.
No.
I mean, take charge, Bana. Take
Yeah,
charge. Because
yeah.
I can also, you crash at some point and think, so how do I manage this? What do I tell my brothers?
Yeah.
You know, and we've been living like this for a long time.
Why didn't you have that discussion before? Like, why didn't you tell them when we get married, you guys will not be here?
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I don't think he realized it was even going to be
An issue. Actually, didn't know it was going to be a big deal. But it was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think the other issue we had, we were staying down between Lolongo and the river. She was working in Karen.
Yeah.
I had to wake up every morning at 3. I had school. So we will leave I will leave in the house at 3. She will leave at 4. We will come to the house at 10 p.m. I was crazy. So we after 3 months we had to move.
You weren't having too much time together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, and we were still very many in the house.
Did it worry you before the marriage, before the wedding? Did it worry you that he came from a polygamous family?
It was part of what we dealt with
Yeah.
on that fateful day.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
it was
All right.
part of what we dealt with, so it didn't bother me a bit after that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We made it clear this is what's the trend in our homes,
All right.
and we just cut it right there.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you at some point feel, before you had this boldness now to just secure the space for your nuclear family,
Right.
you at some point feel like, you're being unfair, feeling like Nana was being unfair? Like, I mean, we are one huge family.
Oh yeah, many times.
Definitely.
I
You couldn't
felt
get what I meant.
yeah. I was thinking, what is the problem? You mean?
You don't like my family. Those were the ones.
Yes, you don't like, and I said it enough times.
Yeah.
So you don't like my family.
Actually, it's not that I don't like my family.
Okay, that conversation was hard.
Yeah, that was a hard. Even now, it still feels
How
off.
did you guys fix that?
I got to some points. I said, you know what? I have to take charge as a man. And I remember one of the conversations in our meetings. We have a couples meetings. Is when the moment you marry, then your extended family still becomes your family, but this is your immediate need. So take care of this. And so I said, you know what? I don't know what my brothers and parents will say and the extended family, but I have to manage my family because I have it now. And so slowly I just spoke to my brother and said, you know what, bro? It's okay if you want to come, but tell me you're coming for 1 week. Tell me you're coming for 2 weeks, so
we
that
prepare for you.
we know, so that she also knows that my brother will be here for this long. Apparently, after I did that, she became more now she's the one who's inviting people.
But it was an agreement. I think there's a day we actually sat
Yeah.
after another fight about the same thing. We sat and agreed that I will make room in my heart for them.
All right.
I'll make room. I'll not be expecting that this will be my little family, like the one I came from.
Right.
I'll begin to reprogram my heart and my mind to allow other people to share my space, and it doesn't have to kill me.
But you know,
Because that
some
was my
people,
problem. It wasn't
not
really my
everybody-
brothers. It wasn't really the extended family.
I'm going to commend you because not
Yeah.
everybody makes that adjustment.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
No matter how many conversations people have,
Yeah.
some people just don't get it.
Yeah.
They still stay out of it. And
You
it's
have to, because the day I realized I will be buried in my husband's home, is the day I knew I'm married. I was like, this is my family.
Yeah.
Reality check. This is my family. Whether I think they should be 10 and not 5, they should be 5 and not 10, is not really the issue, because they're all here now. So this is my family. So when I began making room for them in my heart, and ultimately in my house, then it stopped being an issue. And then now for him, he also helped them to just slightly understand that it's
Yeah.
okay to tell us it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be open-ended all the time.
All right.
So it worked.
How
I think.
important is it? Because I know my time is up, and I'm
Alright.
going to talk to Timothy so that we have you guys back again. Because we're just starting to scrape
I
the surface.
know.
But how important is it for a man to empower his wife to deal with his family?
It is very important. Every time you empower your wife, you're empowering yourself. Every time my folks call her for money, I feel very nice because you know it's not a side thing. Sasa, let's
Let's just Iba some from this family.
let's Iba some from this.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important because it actually helps you. She feels better
And safe.
and safe,
Yeah.
especially on the other side.
Yeah.
She's actually, they love her. My brothers love her, my parents love her.
Yeah.
And so it's very important for a man to make sure that your wife is, what's the word you use?
Empowered.
Is empowered.
Yeah.
And your wife is, you know, you can trust her.
Yeah, because some people, they leave their wives at a place where their family thinks this is a hindrance.
That's true.
Yeah.
That we used to access our brother, he used to support
Yeah.
us
Yes,
until he
yes,
got
yes.
married. Yeah.
And you have to defend your wife.
Yeah.
I liked what my mother told me one day. She pulled me aside and she said, I love the way you defend your wife.
Right.
You had to.
Yeah, I love the way you defend your wife. You stand for her.
Right.
And she's speaking from a point she knows.
Yes.
And that was very impressive coming from your own mother.
Yeah.
Saying, so defend your wife, stand for her, empower her, make her feel safe.
Yeah.
Right.
And every time you do that, the other party respects you.
Respects you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, as I said, we're going to look for a part 2 of this because we're just starting, with Ndiemas, Anthony, and then we've not even spoken about their life in the limelight, but I do believe that you have picked nuggets, things that are very, very pertinent for you, especially if you're out over there, you've got a large family, you're trying to find your way around, you're having such issues as they did. I know that this has been very helpful to you. For the men out there, empower your wife, and don't let your wife become like the gatekeeper. So everybody's thinking she's blocking us from reaching our person. Well, that's all the time we've had from This Is Us, and right here at the Westgate Mall. Tomorrow is Artistic Thursday. Of course, Friday is Feel Good Friday, but we'll see you again next week right here on Relationship Wednesday. Have a lovely day.